Jaron Ennis from FightHype.com. I'm here with Bozy Ennis, the trainer of multiple sons of all the Ennises. How's it going?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. Now, I have to first talk about overall your training background as a trainer. You were a former fighter.
Yes.
And can we talk a little bit about your background and everything?
Well, my background is, I think I started back in, late 69, early 70s.
Okay.
That's an amateur. I only had like three or four amateur fights. And I fought a guy, the last fight I fought a guy back in, I had to be like in 70, 71, and he was like the second in the nation.
Wow.
And I had beat him, but they robbed me because I was in his hometown. So after that, that's when my trainer said, man, you need to turn pro. You know, back then, it wasn't like it is now, you know. It was rough, everything back then. Especially when you signed contracts and all that stuff.
Yep.
Them little small little letters and all that stuff. Stuff that you don't understand, you know. But yeah, so I was amateur back then. Then I turned pro in 1976.
Now, going into your professional career, when you went from the amateurs to professional, do you feel like that was the great move, and did you learn a lot transition as a professional?
At the time back then, I just liked to fight. I like fighting. You know what I mean? I was a street fighter, you know. And once I got into the gym, I had sparred a guy who was fighting for like 5 years.
Wow.
And I sparred him, and I beat the kid on the orthodox side. That's who I used to fight, on the orthodox side. And I beat him. And after that, that's when I thought about starting training. Because I was a good street fighter, and that's when I started to come in the gym and start training. That's when me go over there and straighten my left hand out, because I was fighting on the right hand side. I used to only use one hand. That's the right hand. I think everybody used to do that. You know what I mean?
Was it because it felt comfortable? That was your power hand?
That was my power hand. That's what I used to lead with. You know, the majority of the people back in my time back then used to do the same thing. You know. And I just had guys come from jail trying me and all that stuff. I was a pretty good street fighter, man, you know.
Now, you know, of course you went from the transition from a professional fighter to a trainer.
Right.
Can we talk about, was that something that you always wanted to do, or is it when you had your sons, you know, you have 3 sons that are all, you know, fighters?
The reason why I had turned trainer is because when I was in the gym training and sparring and boxing and all that stuff at that time, I was training people back then. I was helping guys out that came in the gym. My trainer was training somebody else. I would help the young kids in the gym. And so after that, my trainer had died. You know what I mean? This was late on. He had died. And once he died, I said to myself, it's time to get out this game, because I found out the game was so dirty back then. If you signed the contract, you signed your life away back then. That's the way it used to be back then. You know, because I used to talk to a lot of people, and I knew a lot of people, you know, that got into a situation like that, you know. And so that's when I started training fighters after that, you know what I mean? I've been training fighters for a long time now, over 30-something, close to 40 years, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Or if you add it all together, you know what I mean?
Now, I want to ask this because, you know, I'm not as knowledgeable about some of those contracts back then. Like, what was like some of the contracts, or like what in those stipulations made them so bad back then that you don't really see?
Well, see, they would tell you to sign a contract, right? See, back then a lot of people didn't know about contracts. I didn't know nothing about no contract, you know what I mean? And so my trainer was handling mostly all that stuff. So when they came to me with a contract, I didn't know what, you know, you got these real small little lines that you don't understand. Some of the stuff you would understand. You know what I mean? You owe a certain amount of fights, a certain amount of time in the contract. If you don't fulfill obligation, you get extension and all that stuff. Back then it was much different back then. You know what I mean? You know, you sign your life away. You tied down for years and years. That's because you don't know nothing about it.
How do they tie you in, just for like someone?
Once you sign it, that's it. Once you sign it, sometimes back then they would give you a blank contract.
Really?
Just to sign it.
So people would just sign, and then they would go back and fill it all in?
Then they'll go back and fill it in. But you don't know no better, you know, back then. You know what I mean? You know, but I had my trainer, you know what I mean? And that's the only reason why I guess I did what I had to do, and I wasn't really obligated to a lot of stuff that they wanted me to do, you know? Yeah.
Wow.
But I heard stories, you know what I mean? I didn't get caught up like that. You know
of course,
what I mean?
yeah.
But the reason why I stopped training is because my trainer had died, and I didn't trust nobody back then. I didn't trust nobody because I looked at a lot of other fighters and see how bad they was getting it. You know what I mean?
Now, you know, there's a lot of relationships that are similar like that. It's like a father-son with their trainer. In this case, that's exactly what it is. It's father and son. Can we talk a little bit about your sons, each individual, and how you got each one involved in boxing, or did they get themselves involved?
Oh, no. All that came from me. What happened is this with my other two sons, Derek, Pooh, Ennis, and Farah, Quiet Storm Ennis. I used to tell them, you know what I mean? I really had to tell them because they used to come to the gym when I go to the gym. So once they see you doing something, they portray after you. You know, my son see me box when they was little. They see me jump rope, they see me hit the bag, they see me all that. So all the stuff that I was doing, they was trying to do. Even when they was little. See, you don't have to teach them when they're a certain age. When they see what their father do, they try to portray after their father. You know what I mean? And see, all of them started like in the, what you call it, a little walker? The walker.
Yeah, the stroller.
Yeah, the walker. All three of them started in that. I had put little gloves on them. They see me hit the bag, they go to the bag and hit the bag in a walker. You know what I mean? And that's why I would tell people, they were saying, oh yeah, he don't have that much experience and all that stuff. Like in the amateurs, like when we was in the amateurs fighting. I said, man, they got experience. They've been doing this since it was crawling, man. You know what I mean? I said, you'll see. They went right to the top. You know what I mean?
Now, you know, with some of your training methods, obviously we can't go in depth because it's still top secret,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, from your style of training, you know, when you look at your sons, they have a very high endurance, a high IQ, and things like that.
Right.
Where does all this come from? Is it from your background experience as a professional?
That's come from me. See, a lot of stuff that I teach them, I was never taught. It was automatic with me.
Okay.
You know, all the stuff that I teach them, my trainer never taught me that. My trainer taught me the basics. All the stuff that I taught them, all that came from me. I picked all this up on my own. That was my style. You know what I mean? And just like the boxing, using the jab, what I like to do most of all with the fighters, I teach them defense. I don't like to see none of my fighters getting hit. So I specialize like in defense, you know what I mean? And boxing, you know what I mean? Teach them how to use a jab or, you know, the basic stuff, but, you know what I mean? And this is what I always tell people, if you got a guy that's on your level, same level as you, and he don't have no tricks, and you got the tricks, you win the fight. And that's where my stuff come in at. I have a lot of tricks that I work on and I teach, you know what I mean? And same with all my sons, I do the same with all of them, you know what I mean? They all got a little bit of me in all of them, you know?
Now, you know, with this new school age of fighters, I've heard that's been criticized at times, you know, with the pad work and things like that, and a lot of trainers that some people say they don't really know who they are. That's what I would hear. But they keep saying that a lot of the old school things or things are lost in transit.
Well, see, that's me. I'm old school. You know what I mean? See, people think that you need a lot of pad work. You don't need a lot of pad work. I mean, it's good to pad work. Pad work is for timing and coordination. Who you see fight like that? Nobody fights like that. No fighters fight like that. And like I tell everybody, you know what I mean? It's good to do that sometime, but my most important thing with my fighters that I still do now, that's why they say I'm a teacher, because I can get in there and teach them. I can show them, you know, on the outside how to do it, how to catch a shot, how to do this, how to do that. And I can get in there and box them and show them. And that's why a lot of my fighters believe in me, because that's what I teach. See, I can do whatever I do with them, you know what I mean? I can teach them.
Now, outside of your sons being taught a lot of the traits from your background, and do you see any fighters nowadays that you see some old school in their style a little bit? Yeah. And by any chance, by names, do you know?
Julian Williams.
J-Rock.
He got old style. He got from old school. He do a lot of old school stuff. His trainer, Steve Evans, Red Man.
Yeah.
Good trainer. You know what I mean?
They seem the historian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Good. Yeah. It's a lot of them. You know, just like Hamza just left out here. You know what I mean? He was taught by old school teacher.
I'm talking about Fulton.
Muhammad.
Oh.
Fulton.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of them guys. Then you got what's his name? You got Nazim Richardson.
Nasim Richardson, yeah,
He's a lot of them guys was taught by old school teachers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, and what you got? Aaron Ford. He was taught by old school teachers. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying they teaching the old school way.
But they got some old. What do you think about guys when you hear about like Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence?
Yeah.
You know, do they have some old school in there, or I just want to just differentiate what's old school and what's kind of like more modern. So that
see what I consider as old school. Like back in the day when I was fighting, we didn't use this. I didn't use no speed bag or reflex bag. All I did was shadow box, spar, and hit the bag and jump rope. Chop wood. What I mean old school is chop wood. You know what I mean? A lot of tire work. You know what I mean? That's the old school. You know what I mean? Instead of lifting weights, you do a lot of pulling and lifting other type of.
Yeah, I seen you had a method where you had a rope and you had your sons go up.
Yeah.
And
pulling up the
ropes.
Yeah. And that's my way of doing things like this, like just like in here. Got the rope right here.
Oh, yep, I see her right over there.
Wood over in the corner. There's wood over in the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Behind there, we chop wood.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Then we got the tire. We do.
Yep.
That's old school stuff, man. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by old school. You know what I mean?
How does that, just from experience, give you an advantage opposed to some maybe the modern style?
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. If you notice, a lot of the guys that's doing that condition they call modern conditioning, see, a lot of them overdo it. They overdo it. You know what I mean? And you got to know how far to go with them. See, most of them guys that does that, a lot of times you see them, they run out of gas early.
Yeah.
Because they do so much. It's a limit that you go to. You know what I mean? There's a limit to everything. You know what I mean? You can't work yourself. You know what I mean? You got to know how far to go.
And I got the pleasure to see Jaron work out today. And, it looked like he was ready to do another 12 rounds.
It wasn't breathing hard or nothing. Nothing hard, you know what I mean? And see, like I told them back when they was coming up, how to reserve their energy. All these guys get in and box and swing a while, throwing all them punches, right? And then once they finish doing it, they tired. Jaron can go 15 rounds without running or being in shape. He can do 15 rounds, just like I should do, all around. I do 20 and 30 rounds in the gym with a lot of different fighters in my gym, the old dungeon, where I come from. And I taught them how to reserve their energy. You just don't go in there and throwing all them punches all wild. Take your time, place yourself, and relax. You know what I mean? Let them dudes get off, catch the shots. You know what I mean? Then you come back with your stuff, and now it's time for you.
Now.